mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, industrial engineering, safety engineering, logistic engineering, civil engineering, urban and regional planning, architecture, environmental engineering, and materials and metallurgical engineering. Along with the expansion of study programs, ITK keeps advancing various laboratories with modern technology equipment to support student competencies and skills. Various types of areas and spaces are also available for students to learn together, to work on projects, or to deliver presentations. To evolve in the midst of a rapidly growing digitalization era, ITK provides many ways for students to reach knowledge, both online and offline. ITK also makes it easier for students to take care of educational administration with a lot of information in one app. Not only supporting the advancements of research and technology, ITK also encourages students to express themselves creatively. ITK has various student activity units which support student development from arts to entrepreneurship. By supporting the balance between knowledge and creativity, it will empower the maximum potential of the student. It is marked by the achievements that lead ITK to gain national and international recognition. ITK always believes that learning is no longer sitting in one place, but here and anywhere beyond collaborations. ITK supports Kampus Merdeka, a program initiated by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Indonesia. Besides the student exchange programs, ITK has established certified internship programs with various corporate objectives, both state-owned and private companies. As a commitment to community service, ITK always has an aspiration to create innovation that could help the society to grow with technology advances. ITK will always continue to collaborate and build synergy with the government, industry, and higher education. By providing it all, it leads students to learn beyond the classroom, to foster global awareness and collaboration, so they could be more empowered and well-equipped to step towards the future. ITK is always committed to be more advanced and become the barometer of high education in the Eastern Indonesia region. Starting from Kalimantan for the better Indonesia.
Welcome to Material and Metallurgical Engineering ITK. I am Jatmoko Awali, the head of department. I know that
Welcome to Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, a science and technology-driven university with a regional and global focus. Founded in 2012, Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, or ITK, was a part of the Indonesia government's plan to establish more state institute of technology outside of Java Island. With a long consideration and the results of the feasibility study, the city of Balikpapan was finally determined to be the location to be the perfect location for the plant, as it's known as one of the substantial gateways to Kalimantan. In 2014, ITK was finally inaugurated by the 6th President of Indonesia with its first rector, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Sulistiano, DEA.
The existence of Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, or ITK, as an educational institution in eastern side of Indonesia is intended to prepare qualified human resources to face the master plan for acceleration and expansion of Indonesia's economic development. On the way to becoming a world-class university, ITK always expands in study program, learning system, facilities, and other support in the learning process.
Being the first state institute of technology in Kalimantan, ITK strives to become a superior university and to have an active role in national development through empowering potentials of Kalimantan region by 2025. To fulfill the bright vision, ITK continues to grow with 3 main missions. ITK now has 21 bachelor programs with respective scientific fields, including mathematics, informatics, information systems, actuarial science, statistics, digital business, physics, naval architecture, ocean engineering, food technology, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, industrial engineering, safety engineering, logistic engineering, civil engineering, urban and regional planning, architecture, environmental engineering, and materials and metallurgical engineering. Along with the expansion of study programs, ITK keeps advancing various laboratories with modern technology equipment to support student competencies and skills. Various types of areas and spaces are also available for students to learn together, to work on projects, or to deliver presentations. To evolve in the midst of a rapidly growing digitalization era, ITK provides many ways for students to reach knowledge, both online and offline. ITK also makes it easier for students to take care of educational administration with a lot of information in one app. Not only supporting the advancements of research and technology, ITK also encourages students to express themselves creatively. ITK has various student activity units which support student development from arts to entrepreneurship. By supporting the balance between knowledge and creativity, it will empower the maximum potential of the student. It is marked by the achievements that lead ITK to gain national and international recognition. ITK always believes that learning is no longer sitting in one place, but here and anywhere beyond collaborations. ITK supports Kampus Merdeka, a program initiated by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Indonesia. Besides the student exchange programs, ITK has established certified internship programs with various corporate objectives, both state-owned and private companies. As a commitment to community service, ITK always has an aspiration to create innovation that could help the society to grow with technology advances. ITK will always continue to collaborate and build synergy with the government, industry, and higher education. By providing it all, it leads students to learn beyond the classroom, to foster global awareness and collaboration, so they could be more empowered and well-equipped to step towards the future. ITK is always committed to be more advanced and become the barometer of high education in the Eastern Indonesia region. Starting from Kalimantan, for the better Indonesia.
Welcome to Material and Metallurgical Engineering ITK. I'm Jatmoko Awali, the head of department. I know there must be a lot of questions about what we can do on this study program. Let me get you to take a look at the journey that you can choose to assess your universe. Our strategy to solve these various problems is by dividing our expertise in four broad research areas: material simulation and modeling, material manufacture, innovative material, material viral analysis. Let's find out what they are doing.
Material simulation and modeling expertise cover research for modeling and simulating important aspects in material science, including structure, properties, and behavior of materials. Basically, we are trying to construct models and identifying the correct approaches to test theoretical descriptions, experimental observations, or non-experimentable materials phenomena using various computer softwares.
Materials manufacturing studies the processing of materials to improve the efficiency and effectivity of product manufacturing. For example, casting, soldering, carburizing, welding, sintering, polymer extrusion, and composite curing.
Innovative materials focuses to improve materials by curating and developing innovative composite, metal, polymer, and ceramic, by expanding the design for devices and system of technological applications such as industrial, medical, and environment.
Material failure can lead to catastrophic accidents like the Titanic, airplane crashes, or collapsing bridges around the globe. The program teaches the student to analyze cracks, corrosion, deformation, and many forms of material failure to find the causes and design the prevention of material failure.
So, that is a glimpse of the universe that you can choose. Let's start your journey with us to see more and know more. Because
There is no engineering without materials.
there is no engineering without materials.
Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, a science and technology-driven university with a regional and global focus. Founded in 2012, Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, or ITK, was a part of the Indonesia government's plan to establish more state institute of technology outside of Java Island. With a long consideration and the results of the feasibility study, the city of Balikpapan was finally determined to be the perfect location for the plan, as it's known as one of the substantial gateways to Kalimantan. In 2014, ITK was finally inaugurated by the 6th President of Indonesia with its first rector, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Sulistiano, DEA.
The existence of Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, or ITK, as an educational institution in eastern side of Indonesia is intended to prepare qualified human resources to face the master plan for acceleration and expansion of Indonesia's economic development. On the way to becoming a world-class university, ITK always expands in study program, learning system, facilities, and other support in the learning process.
Being the first state institute of technology in Kalimantan, ITK strives to become a superior university and to have an active role in national development through empowering potentials of Kalimantan region by 2025. To fulfill the bright vision, ITK continues to grow with 3 main missions. ITK now has 21 bachelor programs with respective scientific fields, including mathematics, informatics, information systems, actuarial science, statistics, digital business, physics, naval architecture, ocean engineering, food technology, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, industrial engineering, safety engineering, logistic engineering, civil engineering, urban and regional planning, architecture, environmental engineering, and materials and metallurgical engineering. Along with the expansion of study programs, ITK keeps advancing various laboratories with modern technology equipment to support student competencies and skills. Various types of areas and spaces are also available for students to learn together, to work on projects, or to deliver presentations. To evolve in the midst of a rapidly growing digitalization era, ITK provides many ways for students to reach knowledge, both online and offline. ITK also makes it easier for students to take care of educational administration with a lot of information in one app. Not only supporting the advancements of research and technology, ITK also encourages students to express themselves creatively. ITK has various student activity units which support student development from arts to entrepreneurship. By supporting the balance between knowledge and creativity, it will empower the maximum potential of the student. It is marked by the achievements that lead ITK to gain national and international recognition. ITK always believes that learning is no longer sitting in one place, but here and anywhere beyond collaborations. ITK supports Kampus Merdeka, a program initiated by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Indonesia. Besides the student exchange programs, ITK has established certified internship programs with various corporate objectives, both state-owned and private companies. As a commitment to community service, ITK always has an aspiration to create innovation that could help the society to grow with technology advances. ITK will always continue to collaborate and build synergy with the government, industry, and higher education. By providing it all, it leads students to learn beyond the classroom, to foster global awareness and collaboration, so they could be more empowered and well-equipped to step towards the future. ITK is always committed to be more advanced and become the barometer of higher education in the Eastern Indonesia region. Starting from Kalimantan, for the better Indonesia.
Welcome to Material and Metallurgical Engineering ITK. I'm Jatmoko Awali, the head of department. I know there must be a lot of questions about what we can do on this study program. Let me get you to take a look at the journey that you can choose to assess your universe. Our strategy to solve these various problems is by dividing our expertise in four broad research areas: material simulation and modeling, material manufacture, innovative material, material payroll analysis. Let's find out what they are doing.
Material simulation and modeling expertise cover research for modeling and simulating important aspects in material science, including structure, properties, and behavior of materials. Basically, we are trying to construct models and identifying the correct approaches to test theoretical descriptions, experimental observations, or non-experimentable materials phenomena using various computer softwares.
Materials manufacturing studies the processing of materials to improve the efficiency and effectivity of product manufacturing. For example, casting, soldering, carburizing, welding, sintering, polymer extrusion, and composite curing.
Innovative Materials focuses to improve materials by curating and developing innovative composite, metal, polymer, and ceramic, by expanding the design for devices and systems of technological applications such as industrial, medical, and environment.
Material failure can lead to catastrophic accidents like the Titanic, airplane crashes, or collapsing bridges around the globe. The program teach the student to analyze cracks, corrosion, deformation, and many forms of material failure to find the causes and design the prevention of material failure.
So, that is a glimpse of the universe that you can choose. Let's start your journey with us to see more and know more. Because
There is no engineering without materials.
there is no engineering without materials.
Welcome to Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, a science and technology-driven university with a regional and global focus. Founded in 2012, Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, or ITK, was a part of the Indonesia government's plan to establish more state institute of technology outside of Java Island. With a long consideration and the results of the feasibility study, the city of Balikpapan was finally determined to be the perfect location for the plan, as it's known as one of the substantial gateways to Kalimantan. In 2014, ITK was finally inaugurated by the 6th President of Indonesia, with its first rector, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Sulistiano, EEA.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Engineer Yunita Triana, SSI, MSI, as the Chairman of World Class Professor Program from Institut Teknologi Kalimantan. Welcome the Honorable Professor Insinyur Budi Santosa, MS, PhD, Rector of Institut Teknologi Kalimantan. Welcome to the Honorable Professor Dr. Yaswati Einaga as the speaker from Keio University, Japan. Welcome to the Honorable Professor Dr. Rerum Naturalium Freddy Kurniawan, MSI, as the speaker from Institut Teknologi 10 November, Indonesia. Welcome to the Honorable Professor Yasuhisa Adachi as the speaker from Tsukuba University, Japan. And welcome to the Honorable Mr. Ahmed Amin, PhD candidate at Coventry University and member of the Welding Institute, United Kingdom, as speaker. And welcome to all attendees and guests to this event of world-class professor webinar on strategy of preparing research management group and writing proposal to reach international grant. World-class professor program conceived by Ministry of Culture and Education, Republic of Indonesia, as a series of programs like webinars and workshops to help increase the excellence of research team and the high quality outputs of the research produced by the teams. Now, it is time to pray to God Almighty to ensure the success and benefit of this event to all of us, and pray to according to our belief. Let's pray. Amin. And it is the time to sing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and the hymn of ITK. Let's sing the anthem solemnly.
Teknologi Kalimantan, kokoh berdiri di khatulistiwa, simbol suci kemajuan teknologi, tak tergantikan di bumi Borneo. Mantap melangkah menggoreskan karya, demi meraih cita, mewujudkan kemandirian bangsa, kuat dan berdikari. Empat tugas mulia, olah sumber daya untuk kebangkitan bangsa, gelora semangat jiwa Pancasila, bersatu padu bangun dunia dengan ilmu dan teknologi. Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, terpujilah alma mater tercinta, tempat raih ilmu pengetahuan, tanpa diri jadi manusia unggul. Institut Teknologi Kalimantan, takkan ku lupa cita, jadi patriot pembela nusa bagi Indonesia, jadi patriot pembela nusa bagi Indonesia.
All attendees, now it's time for the indigenous dance performed by member of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering Department, Austin Miles. He is a member of Dayak tribe and expert of traditional dance. Please enjoy the performance. Thank you, Austin, for your magnificent performance. And now, all attendees, now we invite to the stage the Honorable Chairman of World Class Professor Program, Dr. Engineer Yunita Triana, SSE, MSE, to deliver her speech. To the Honorable Professor, to the Honorable Dr. Engineer Yunita Triana, SSE, MSE, time and stage is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear my voice? Is it clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Your Honorable Director of ITK, Professor Insinyur Budi Santosa, PhD, keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Yasuake Inaga, invited speaker, Professor Dr. Renat Freddy Kurniawan, Professor Yasuhisa Adachi, and Mr. Ahmed Amin, PhD candidate, the committee of the World Class Professor First Series, and all the audiences today. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Yunita Triana. I am the chairman of the World Class Professor Program. We have 3 programs on this WCP. The first program is today, workshop program, and the second program is international webinar, which held on September 22nd, and the third program is guest lecture, which held on October 6th. So today we will have the first series that the topic is strategy to manage the research group and writing proposal to reach international grant. And on the research of the research group at ITK is carbon-based semiconductor electrodes. This research group is a small unit supporting the research at the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, which has initiated in March 2022. As a new research group, it is necessary to have a direction for preparing research management group and writing proposal to reach international grant. Therefore, by getting valuable points from reputable speakers today, it can increase the competency for us to manage research group and also to reach international grant. I hope everybody can enjoy today. And finally, thank you very much for everybody's enthusiasm and good luck for all of us. Thank you very much for your attention. Please enjoy.
Thank you to the Honorable Dr. Engineer Yunita Triana, SSE, MSE, for the speech. And we also invite to the stage the Honorable Professor Insinyur Budi Santosa Purwokartiko, MS PhD, as Director of Institut Teknologi Kalimantan. To the Honorable Professor Insinyur Budi Santosa, MS PhD, time and stage is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Honorable, all the speakers, the Committee of World Class Professor First Series, and all audience. First of all, many thanks to all committee and speakers to arrange this event well. Ladies and gentlemen, as an educational institution, ITK has a vision and mission to create a generation that drives the advancement of science and technology. ITK continues to improve on prioritizing institutional quality with sustainable effort in various fields. This year, ITK got valuable chance to hold academic activities by inviting the best professor to ITK called World Class Professor 2022. For lecturers got this funding program from Directorate of Higher Education of Indonesia. So we are very proud of this achievement. Today, the host of this program is Dr. Engineering Junita Triana. For the first series of World Class Professor is workshop program. This activity aim to develop capacity building of ITK's lecturers. We invite speakers from Indonesia, Japan, and United Kingdom. They will share their best experience and knowledge. So, as a rector of ITK, formally I open World Class Professor 2022. I hope today's event is Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Professor Insinyur Budi Santosa, MS PhD, for your speech and the opening of this event. And to all attendees and guests, before we start this webinar, we humbly ask you to turn on your camera or webcam or any other recording device to let us, the committee, to take your photo to commemorate this precious event. So to all attendees, we humbly ask to turn on your camera, and we will have some moment, some time to take photo. To the committee, please give us the signal if you are taking the photo. Thank you.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the committee for taking the photo. Before we start the webinar, I will introduce you to the moderator of our webinar, Mr. Andromeda Dwi Laksono, MSc, PhD candidate. Mr. Andromeda Dwi Laksono is a PhD candidate in NTST Taiwan and lecturer at MME ITK. Previously, he is active as head of research body in ITK LPPM. Please welcome Mr. Andromeda Dwi Laksono, MSc.
Okay, Mr. Alpha, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, maybe a bit higher in volume, please.
Okay. Hello? Is that clear?
Yes.
I can
okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Alpha. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Best wish for all of us. Good morning, respected guests. Welcome once again to the World Class Professor, Chapter 1 in this event with the topic Strategy of Preparing Research Management Group and Writing Proposals to Reach International Grant. Dear Professor Budi Santosa Purwakartiko, PhD, as Chancellor of ITK, dear Doctor of Engineering, Vinita Triana, as Chairman in a series of world-class professor events, and honorable speakers, dear Professor Dr. Yaswaki Ainaga, Professor Dr. Bernard Freddy Kurniawan, Professor Yasuhisa Adachi, and Ahmed Amin, PhD, as a speakers at this event, and also ladies and gentlemen, lecturers, and the public who have been willing to attend this seminar. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Andromeda Dulaksono, as moderator in this morning. Now, I'm further studying the PhD program at the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology in Taiwan. Also, I'm a lecturer at the Institut Teknologi Kalimantan campus in study program Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. Now my status is study assignment and my position is in Taiwan. Okay, allow me to read the events. So for the main event, there will be 4 speakers from various well-known universities in the world who will present the materials today. So the first will be presented by Professor Dr. Yasuaki Einaga from KU University. Then the second will be presented by Professor Dr. Bernard Freddy Kurniawan from Institut Teknologi 10 November, Indonesia, with the topic Writing Proposal to Reach International Grant. Furthermore, the third was presented by Professor Yasuhisa Adachi from Tsukuba University, Japan, with the topic Writing Proposal to Reach International Grant. And finally, the last but not least, Mr. Ahmad Amin, PhD student from the Welding Institute, United Kingdom. And he will present about strategy of preparing research management group. And each session will have a discussion for questions and answers. So for participants who want to ask the questions, you can fill in the chat column in the Zoom, or you can raise hand for directly open the microphone for asking the questions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's just enter the main events of today's activity. So this time, the one who will present the first is Professor Dr. Yasuaki Einaga. Okay, the topic is about strategy of preparing research management group. Hello, Professor.
Hi,
Hello. How are you today?
selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Yasuaki Einaga from Keio University, Japan. So, can I start?
Okay.
Can I share?
Allow me to read your CV first, Professor, before you start. Is that okay?
Can you see?
Yeah. So I will read your curriculum vitae first, Professor. Just 2 minutes before you start. His full name is Yasuaki Einaga, and his position is professor in Department of Chemistry in Keio University, Japan. And his educational background for Bachelor of Science from 1990 until 1994 in Department of Chemistry, Faculty of Science in the University of Tokyo. And for the Master of Science from 1994 until 1996 in Department of Chemistry, Graduate School of Science in the University of Tokyo. And he continues his PhD, Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering from 1996 until 1999 in Department of Applied Chemistry, Graduate School of Engineering in the University of Tokyo. And his research about BDD, application of boron-doped diamond to electrochemical gas sensor. And also its index in Scopus is very high, it's 56. And also he has a lot of awards. One of them is a Scientific Achievement Award from the Electrochemical Society of Japan in 2022. Okay, Professor Einaga, are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, I can see your PPT.
Okay.
So your presentation is about 20 minutes, Professor.
20 minutes. Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Yasuaki Einaga.
Okay. Good morning again, everyone. My name is Einaga from Keio University, Japan. So thank you very much for your nice introduction. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to Nita-san. Nita-san is a Dr. Yunita Triana. So she was my student, actually. So she organized a very nice workshop, and I'm very happy to be here. So in the beginning, today's actually, I don't know where about today's concept, actually. So I don't know if this is okay or not. So the title is Strategy of Preparing Research Management Group, but actually I don't know how to organize the research management group in your institute. But just now, so I want to, I thought, what should I talk today? But today I'm just talking about my experience in my 20 years, in this 20 years to manage my own research group and writing proposal. So is it okay?
Sensei, of course.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right, I'll start. Okay, so yes, already the chairperson kindly introduced to me, but again, I will introduce myself first. So I was born in 1971. Just now I'm 50 years old. Anyway, okay. So as he introduced, I graduated from the University of Tokyo and then undergraduate work and master work, and then moved to the Department of Applied Chemistry to get PhD. Then I became a research associate at the University of Tokyo. My boss is Professor Fujishima, Akira Fujishima. You know, he's a very big boss, and he's always a candidate of the Nobel Prize. He discovered photocatalysis, titanium dioxide material. Maybe some of you know him, and he's already almost 80 years old, but still very active. Anyway, I was a student of Professor Fujishima, and at that time I was a research associate under the Professor Fujishima. Then in 2001, I became independent in Keio University now, until now. So, and I very fortunately, I could have a chance to organize my own research group. So from 2001, now already 2 years. So my group is 21 years old now. Okay. Okay, and then I became, and now my group is now 21 years old. Okay, so just today I want to talk about my experience in this 21 1 year in my group to organize and do some research. Okay, so I'm thinking what is important to organize a research group. So I thought that I have 3 points. First one is a research topic, how to decide the research topic and the research direction. This is the most important point. And so another point is persons. This is very, very important to do research. Maybe the student and the scientist, the good student, the good scientist, and very, very important. So how to encourage, how to welcome the good student into our group. This is also a good important factor. And of course, the third one is the grant is also very important. So we should get some money to perform the research. Okay, so this 3 points. So first one is a research, how to decide how to fix the research topic. So just I want to say this only one sentence. Okay, so not only one topic, but also several possible ideas should be performed. So and to try to do, this is my how to say, always I'm thinking. So not only one topic, but other topic. So just from now I want to introduce my experience from 2001. Just briefly, I want to introduce my research background very briefly in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. Okay, first. Okay, so from 2001, when I became independent, my main research topic was development of photocontrollable materials. So I'm very interested in material science, honestly, how to develop the functional new material. This is my motivation. So in the beginning, my main topic was the development of photocontrollable materials, almost more than 20 years ago. So the purpose is like this: by using light, by photoillumination, if this is not magnet, but after photoillumination, this become magnet, and then this magnet become not magnet again. This kind of photocontrollable magnet is very important, but not commercially available. Okay, so this is a very new phenomenon. And not only magnetic material, but also superconductive material. For example, by using light, the photocontrollable superconductivity is also very important. This is my strategy. So this kind of material can apply to the memory devices or something like that. This was the motivation. Okay. So in 1996, so long time ago, this is the first example of the photomagnet. So this Professor Sato, he is my senior. So he discovered the first example of the photomagnet. So this is the first material, the photoresponsible magnetic material. When this compound is very simple one, cobalt iron prussium blue, when photoillumination, when we illuminate light, this become magnet. Okay, this is a first example. So, and this is published in Science. And then after that, many people are concentrated on developing the photomagnetic material. Okay, so we also developed some material like a metal complex like this. And then we also succeeded to control this electronic state by photoillumination. By using light, the spin state changed after illumination and controlled by reversibly. So this is okay. So many, not only us, but also many people studied this one. But the most important point is low temperature. Okay, this is a very fundamental study. So in this case also, below 25 Kelvin, very low temperature. In our case also below 100 Kelvin and below 50 Kelvin, this is very low temperature. So in low temperature, the photocontrollable is possible. So, but my motivation was to realize at room temperature. This is my motivation in my group when in 20 years ago. Okay, this is my very strong motivation to realize room temperature control of the photomagnet. So then, just I will skip the detail. But for example, in 2004, I focus on iron oxide. Iron oxide shows a magnet at room temperature, and I focus on the azobenzene. Azobenzene is, photochromic compound. By photoillumination, the cis-trans photoisomerization is observed, and by using light, this is possible to control reversibly. So we designed this molecule and designed this kind of nanoparticle of iron oxide. Then this shows the room temperature magnet. And we can introduce the photoresponsive part. So by using this one, we could control the magnetic property by light. Another example is a gold. Gold nanoparticle is also very interesting. I don't have time today. So, but if the gold nanoparticle, when the size is very small, like 1 nanometer, this shows a ferromagnet. This has become magnet even at the room temperature. This is very interesting. So this also azobenzene modified gold nanoparticle could be controlled. This is a magnetic property, and by UV light, magnetization decrease, and by visible light increase, this kind of control observed reversibly. Okay, anyway, we could succeed to realize the room temperature control of the magnetic property by these kind of system. Okay, this is one of my topic. Okay. On the other hand, not only magnetic material, but also I was also very interested in diamond. Diamond is a very good material, it's a very interesting material. So, and also the boron doped diamond is very interesting as a new material. When I saw that at this 2001, 20 years ago, I tried to focus on this diamond material. So not only magnet, but also diamond. So actually, when I started this research around 2000, around here, this is a publication of diamond electrochemistry. As you can see, around this time, boron doped diamond is very, very rare research topic. But now, this is becoming very popular like this. Okay, so actually, as I showed you, as I mentioned, in my group, my research group, for example, after 10 years, 2010, this is my group member photo. At the time, my daughter was 2 years old anyway. and we had 2 research groups. One is a photofunctional group, and another group is a diamond electrode team. So half of the member are studying photomagnet, and another team using diamond. So around this period, in our group, we have 2 groups. So this material and this material are different, completely different, and some idea is sometimes different. But this kind of combination is also very important, I think. So briefly, I want to introduce the diamond material, boron doped diamond, in maybe 2-3 minutes. Okay, so everybody knows diamond. So, but we are focusing on the boron doped diamond. The boron is doped into the diamond. So diamond is insulator, no conductivity, but after boron is doping, the conductivity increases like this. This is a boron doping level. The concentration of boron increases, the conductivity increases. So insulating diamond is used as a drill or cutter. This is a very hard material, hardest material, and diamond is a hard material. And when the doping level is very small, this shows the semiconductor. So these studies are done by many people. So we are focusing on the boron, highly boron doped diamonds, like 1%, 0.1% or 1%. By using this diamond, this shows a metal-like conductivity. It means we can use this one this as an electrode material. This is our research. Okay, so just I want to, I don't have time to explain in detail, but by using diamond, we focus on a electrochemical application by using diamond electrode. So in this first direction is a sensor application. So by using diamond, we apply to the electrochemical sensor to sensing the environmental important species, and not only environment, but also for medical application. Medical application is also very important. Still now, this direction is very active in our group. Okay, so as I mentioned, not only one topic, but also new topics is important. So then, from 2011, I try to expand this application, not only this sensor field, but also some drug development or the chemical production. For example, the CO2 reduction. CO2 is reduced to the useful chemical. This is also very important topic. And by using diamond electrode, this kind of synthesis application is also a new direction. Okay. So anyway, in our group now, so there are many application fields. So now, this is this year's our group have many research group. I mean, the medical team shows medical team is a application for the medical sensor, like for to detect some biologically important species. Nita-san also belong to this team, and detection of the oxygen in blood or something like that. So this kind of medical application is important, but not only medical, but environmental or some other sensor also important. And the CO2 reduction for environment, this is also an important topic, and organic synthesis, and also this fundamental electrochemistry team is also very important to know why the diamond electrode is good. So to study the fundamentals, this is also important. Okay, so now coming back to this one. So not only one topic, but also several possible ideas should be performed. So this is very important to expand some idea. This is important. So how to expand the field? So one of the suggestions is collaboration is very, very useful, very important, very useful. So in our group, we collaborate with the medical school, we collaborate with the physics team, and we collaborate with the information science team, and also we collaborate with company. So from these other field person can give many good information. So we can enhance, we can enjoy the research, not only in our field, but also to expand the knowledge and the field. Okay, so we collaborate with the company, and our bond of them can apply to the sensor, actual commercially available sensor by collaboration. Okay. Can I give 3 minutes more?
Yes, Professor.
Okay.
You can.
Okay, so next important point is the persons. So in my group, I'm trying to encourage the student. How to encourage? I'm always saying the communication is the most important. So how to communicate? Of course, group meetings, maybe most of the research team have group meetings. This is normal. But in our group, we have an individual meeting. We say discussion for each. So every 2 weeks or every week or every 3 weeks, it depends on the time. Some student, in case of some student, every 3 days or something like that, it depending on the student. So I'm discussing with individually with the student. This is very important to communicate. And of course, and also I'm asking to all of the students to give me a daily report. Daily report, very simple one is okay. 1 sentence, 2 sentences enough. What you did today? So this kind of every day, this is a very good communication. Of course, encourage the student to present their work to international conference, to go somewhere, present together to Europe, America, or of course Indonesia, many countries. So this is very important. So recently, due to Corona, this is very, very difficult in 2 years, 2, 3 years. This is very bad. So, but I hope soon our students also want to visit your places. Okay. And of course, group trip and many parties also recently not good, difficult, but this is also important. And also to welcome research staff and foreign students is also good one. So far, I counted the number of the foreign students and staffs. So actually, from Indonesia, I get many Indonesian students like this. And we also send some our students to other countries. So, for example, I want to briefly introduce the relationship with Indonesia. So I mentioned around 40 Indonesian students came to our group. So from 2010, these Indonesian students stayed in our lab like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. So many students. So far, 49, almost 50 students stayed. So some of the students stayed in our lab 2 or 3 months, while someone stayed 1 month, just 1 month or something. But this kind of student stayed a long time as a student. Actually, from University of Indonesia, Gajah Mada University, and your institute from Itasan, stayed, get master, PhD, and PhD. So, and Professor Ipandini from Indonesia, actually, she's graduate from Professor Fujishima's group. She's actually my same boss. So she also stayed in our lab for a long time, and she sometimes sent us Indonesian students. So from now, please come to our lab from the Institute. We're always welcome. Okay, so time is limited. So about the grant, maybe from the next another speaker, professors will give important information. So I will skip the information about my grant. Okay, so finally, okay, as a conclusion, so we should focus on the various topic and contents, and to make use of your skills, but not only direct center of the skill, but also around the skills. You know, the best part is that you can use your skills in slightly different fields, like around the world, around the field. This is very good development can be expected. So multiple skills. Okay, this is about the budget. Okay, so sorry, time is limited. Thank you very much, and terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Professor Enaga, for your great presentation. It's really simple, but we get the points from you. Actually, we have more than 30 minutes for discussion. So maybe there is someone who want to ask. You can raise hand or fill in the chat room. So anybody want to ask? Okay, there is a raise hand here. Operator, can you help me who raise hands? Oh, Miss Gusti Unindia. Okay, please tell your name, where you come from, and you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Hello, Ainaga Sensei. I'm happy to see you again after 2 years in our first international webinar. So I am Lala. I'm a friend of Unita Sensei at ITK. So in this occasion, I would like to ask you, you say that we should gather best students to join our group. In your opinion, how is the criteria of the best student? Because of course, it is not only based on their academic record.
Criteria is I couldn't understand your question clearly, but I think the important one is the motivation. If the student have strong motivation, this is, I think, at least enough. Not perfect enough, but this is enough. I think if the knowledge, of course, important. And for example, in our case, we are chemistry department, so I think the knowledge of the chemistry is very important. But for example, if the student background is, for example, physics or bioscience, but if they are interested in chemistry, and we can collaborate and we can expand some knowledge between by communication with the next field. And so, and the most important one is the motivation. At that time, of course, if the student background is a little bit different, he or she will study chemistry also very hard. And then this kind of research is becoming better and better. So is it okay? Is it?
Sure. I got your point. The most important thing is motivation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ainaga Sensei.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gusti, for your questions. Anyone else who want to ask? You can ask in the chat room or raise hands to open the mic. Okay, we have the question from the students. I think it's from ITK, from Shahril. Let me read the questions. Okay, so the question is, how about the consideration to continue or to quit about the research, so we don't waste the time. So if we get the proposals from the grants, maybe Professor Yasuaki Enaga have the consideration whether this one needs to quit or continue. Maybe you got the point, Professor?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can answer, Professor.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't catch your question.
Okay, so if we have the research grants from the government, for example, and then we consider whether this one is continue or we still quit these grants, so we don't waste the time. So the question is, what is the consideration about continuing or quitting this grant?
Continue or quit to grant?
Yes.
So I couldn't understand the question. So if you get the grant, when you get the grant, then, for example, for 3 years or 5 years or something, then.
Okay, maybe I give for my experience, professors. For example, I study about the composite woods particles in Kalimantan. And when I get the grants, sometimes the result is not my expectation. For example,
result was not enough.
Yeah,
result was not enough.
Yeah, not good enough. So,
okay.
In your consideration, whether do you think we need to still continue or quit display.
Ah,
Yeah.
so
I
that
hope you-
research.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah, this is a good question. Okay. Now I understand. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
So yes, if you think you believe strongly, of course. For example, if you want to continue 1 or 2 years more, the result will come. If you are sure, you have some pre-result. I mean, some, how to say. Of course, this is your expectation. 1 year or 2 years later, okay, I'm sure I can succeed in 2 years, but 3 months is not enough. So in that case, you should continue, of course. But when you studied many experiment, then this is also not good, this is also not good, and this is also not good. So in that case, of course, you must decide we should stop this research. This is also the big decision. So so such kind of decision is also very important to find the new direction. So you should stop this research and try to find another direction. This is also very important point. Just continue if you are sure. So 1 year, 2 years later, this is will be okay. So maybe should continue, but this is a kind of their sense of research. So yes, to stop is also important decision, I think. Is it okay? Could I answer?
Yes. Okay, Professor. Yeah, I get your points. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you very much.
So I think we haven't the questions yet. Maybe while we waiting, I want to ask Professor Yaswaki. So maybe I just want to ask about our campus. So in our campus, maybe you know from Dr. Junita or from Miss Lala or something. So Institut Teknologi Kalimantan is a new campus. Maybe the age is about 8 years old. And we have new lecturers or researchers and not so many research tools or equipment. And also our fields are so diverse. So many fields such as materials, chemical, physics, mechanical, and else. And also for laboratories, we use a joint lab. We call it integrated lab. And also there is no independent lab. I mean, there is no independent. And only a few lecturers who hold doctoral degrees in our campus. In addition, we only have undergraduate students and we don't have a master's and doctoral students. So with such conditions, what optimal steps can we take to start, because we are initiation, to start the research management strategy according to Professor Inaga, especially for maintaining the productivity and the quality of research outputs, such as publications, patents, and prototypes. Do you get my point, Professor?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so yes, your institute is very new and very increasing, and so I'm very expecting your institute will be good. So in the beginning, as you mentioned, maybe something, for example, instrument is not enough or something, and then I think I suggest to regarding research, regarding education, this is important, but I want to say about the research. Regarding research, it is easy to collaborate. Collaboration is very easier to get some result or in the beginning. When, for example, in our case also, if we want to try to the new field. New field means we don't have any instrument and no knowledge. But collaboration, if we collaborate with some expert, maybe it's very easy. We can, for example, we can send a student to that expert professor, and we discuss with them, and we after that we also can study such a field. So in your case also, for example, inside Indonesia also, maybe, for example, University of Indonesia or other university, collaboration is also possible, I guess. And not only inside Indonesia, but also, yes, for example, in collaboration with us or with other group in Japan also, and Europe, America, anywhere. Okay. So, and to welcome student and send student. Sending student is one of the easiest way to collaborate. So actually, as I mentioned, in our group also, I welcomed many Indonesian students. Then that Indonesian students are studying our bond of the diamond electrode, and they also studied such a field. And if they want to do some experiment, they sometimes come again to here. So, and then gradually the environment in your research institute is becoming better and better, I guess. Is it okay?
Okay, Professor Enaga. It's really inspired from your explanation. Thank you once again. So I think from this section, we've got enough because Professor Freddy's already come. Thanks again to Professor Dr. Yasuaki Inaga for sharing your experience with all of us, and we hope we can collaborate more with you in the futures because your university has advanced, and we need learn more from your university, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Inaga. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will enter the second speaker presented by Professor Dr. Renat Freddy Kurniawan. And the topic is writing proposal to reach international grade. Before Professor Freddy Kurniawan give him presentation, let me read his CV. So his full name is Freddy Kurniawan. His position is as head of Department of Chemistry in Faculty of Science and Data Analytics in ITS, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Indonesia. And about educational background, in Bachelor of Science since 1992 until 1997, in field of chemistry, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Indonesia. And for Master of Science from 2001 until 2004 in the field of analytical chemistry in Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. And next, he continued his doctoral program from 2004 until 2007 in the field of chemo and biosensors in Regensburg University, Germany. And talk about his research, it's about chemosensor, biosensor, and electrochemistry. And about intellectual properties, Professor Freddy has a property like the method of detecting coronavirus using fluoroscan spectroscopy. Hello, Professor Freddy. Are you there? Maybe you can turn on your.
Okay, wait a moment. I will prepare the material.
Oh, okay, Professor.
Wait a
Okay,
moment.
yeah, you can take your time, professors. So while we're waiting from Professor Freddy, I want to explain about the world-class professors. So this program is provided by Directorate General of Higher Education, or we call it Dikti, in the Ministry of Education of the Cultures. And also this support to Merdeka Belajar, Kampus Merdeka, which includes to perform the Tridharma. Okay, Professor Freddy,
Wait
are
a
you
minute.
ready? Oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay, we so this year's the Material and Metallurgical Engineering study program in ATK is the first time we got the opportunity to run the world-class professors, and also we invited various countries from another speakers. I mean, so this activities aims is to share academic knowledge across the country. So I hope you from the lecturers or from the students can learn more from this program. Hello, Professor Freddy.
Okay, thank
Ready?
you for time. Okay, hello, good morning everyone, and welcome to all of you to my presentation today in this Zoom meeting. Wait a minute, I will full screen. I would like to bring the topic with how to writing a proposal to reach international grant or also local grant. Actually, to write a proposal for international or local national grant is quite similar. So the respected ladies and gentlemen and the moderator, thank you for the time, and also the committee. To write a proposal, this time I would like to share the presentation content today about call for proposal and how to get a proposal, and little bit about the basic of writing a proposal: title, proposal acronym, abstract, and also keyword, introduction, research objective, actually method, techniques. This all is included in how to perform, to write, also publication is almost similar. There is table, how to write the figures, result, references, and how to manage the project. And most important thing, if you would like to succeed in your proposal, actually, this question is important. Do we need a partner organization? Because today it is impossible. You do it by yourself. Why you need a partner? You have to answer this. And how to divide a big project to work a package of work. The important thing is when you study, when you write a proposal, you need CV of the researcher because it will support you to get a success national. And next, I would like to speak about the budget and ethic in writing and proposal, and summary tackle how to apply a package. Okay, I think all of this everybody in here already know. This is a basic of how to write the proposal or publication. I think when you have you meet a call for proposal, the number one you have to do is search for possible way of funding. The funding is important. You cannot fund research with a very huge amount of money with your own pocket. It is almost impossible. So you need to set a possible ways of funding. Call for proposal, it can be national, also it can be international proposal. Internal proposal is not mean it has huge amount of money, but maybe a little bit money than national. For example, I have experience for there is another phone in my
Ada
ear.
kebocoran sepertinya.
Ada kebocoran. Yes, there is. Okay. International.
Okay, Professor, you can continue.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble because it moves. International proposal is not mean it has a huge amount of money. For example, Story Foundation, it gave only 50 million rupiah. But if you get a proposal, for example, for LPDP, I have get one, it can be 4 billion rupiah. It's 10 times higher than international proposal. But you have to find it. Yeah. The second part is you have to check criteria for proposal. Every call for proposal have different requirement. You have to check the criteria and also the templates. Most of the funder give the template how to write the proposal. You have to find it first. And next, your idea of research or question fit with the call. For example, it is about food and your CV is not about the food. You're not expert in food. It means this proposal is not sweet for you. You have to find another call for proposal which sweet with you. The consequence, it means you have to able to meet criteria with the call of proposal. If not, please find another one which sweet with you. The criteria, it can be deadline of submission, number of partners, and so on. You have to find this requirement first. Ladies and gentlemen, the basic of writing a proposal actually is very simple. You get started with what do I have to say in this proposal? What is the right format of the message? This is about the guidance of the proposal. In publication, it's called guide for authors. In the publication, but in the proposal, little bit simple because you don't have need research and so on. Result, no, because this proposal. What is the audience? Sorry, what is the audience for the message? This is about the target, which the message you have to deliver to them. How does the project fit in criteria of the call? So you have to find the project which fit in the criteria with of the call. About the title, you have to ask to yourself, what is the single most important point of this study? You have to find it, because you will focus in this single point. Your story will be lie in this single point of the most important of this study. And then how would I tell my colleagues in one short description sentence? What is this study about? When you can answer this, it means you exactly know your aim of this project. If not, you actually do not know exactly what you do. A descriptive specific title perfect framing your study will be apparently only after you have written the paper and abstract. Start with a short descriptive working title. Not so long, not too long. This is not the most important, but something is quite useful for us to make some acronym of proposal. For example, this dietitian improving education and training standard diets. The people make some acronym diets. It's easy to say, to speak, so it will be easily for a person to remember about this project. This is not so important, but this is very useful to get the idea to somebody to remember this project. For example, now science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and we often remember with STEM. And also some acronym MOCAF. Actually, this is a abbreviation for modified custom flour food. This is some example how you remember easily by other person. Okay, what abstract is about? In the abstract, emphasize important of the project, formulate research question, and explain methods. And also, you have always check about the exact template of the call proposal. What you aim, what you target. Every step you have to look at the guide for proposal, because all the criteria, all the evaluation will be based on the exact criteria which the funder gives us money. And for introduction, when you want to explain introduction for your proposal, please, the introduction must allow a reader to understand biological, clinical, or methodological rationale for your study. This should be clear what you in the introduction. A good introduction will sell the study to reviewer, and the introduction not to be wide and you talk too much in there, because to be concise and possible, concise as possible. Introduction should be contain existing state of knowledge. So what have done by other people. When you speak about the existing state, it means you will also find the gaps in knowledge which research will fill. You have to speak other people work, and then you find the gaps in knowledge which research will fill. So what you want to do is this is connected to the gaps in knowledge, gaps knowledge, and then after you know the gap of in knowledge, you state what you intend to do. Consequences, give pertinent references about your introduction. But remember, do not review the history of the subject. You do not review the history of the subject. Does not identify all the other gaps in knowledge. Just focus to the gaps which you find in the existing state of knowledge. Does not include method, result, and discussion in this introduction of the proposal. This key, this trick you have to do. You have to fulfill. So after you finish your introduction, just please make some checklist. Check the introduction as a funnel tip with clear section on general background. What is this all about? What is known and what is unknown about this specific subject? Why was this study needed and why it is important? Primary research question, what did we want to know? The study design, what did we do to answer the research question? What are the primary and secondary outcome and or milestone? Ask yourself, will this introduction sell my paper to reviewers? The last question is very important to evaluate your proposal by yourself. The research objective should be clear understanding of the primary research objective. You have to focus with this. What your aim or your objective. Without this, it will be impossible to write a clear and concise story. For example, the aim of the proposal is to improving the understanding, blah, 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 blah. So you have to concise and focus on what you want to do. The result will be highly pertinent to understanding of the blah, blah, blah. This phrase word, sentence, actually important to make some emphasis of your research objective. The data obtained from the project will enable blah, blah, blah. This is important for the reviewer to understand your project proposal concisely. The methods, reason for selecting the design of the study, for example, RCT, clinical trial, animal study, cross-section, cohort, and etc. What the subject, patient, animal, specimen, technique will be used. Because it's important to state about the subject. Because, for example, you use a human. For example, you make some project proposal for COVID-19. There is ethic for this project, actually, ethic to human care. And what statistical method will be used for the analysis? Need for approval. I say you, this is for the human, you need approval of medical ethical committee ethics. There is one committee, for example, in my university, we have a committee if you would like to do with patient, human patient or animal patient. There is some letter for this approval. Checklist of the method section is please include basic information on study design, setting the subject, data collection, data analysis, and ethical approval. This important checklist you have to fulfill. And refer to previous publication for the same large research project, such as study protocol for additional information if applicable. And ask yourself, will researcher be able to reproduce the study with the information I provide in this paper?
Hello, Professor Freddy. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. The time's remaining 3
Oh,
minutes,
okay.
Professor.
I will make it fast. Use the clear, clean, unemotional language. Try use the active verb. Constantly using signal words such as determine later to clarify this compare. Use the present tense for a type of fact and so on. It is about language and past tense or present perfect finding to consider established. I think you can. I can give you this PPT or material to use and send you in picture file to the panitia to the committee, and then you can learn by yourself what you do. I think that my time is enough. Please, we can give answer, make some answer and discussion if you need. Thank you very much to committee.
Okay, thank you, Professor Freddy. You present good information to us and also many lessons we can learn from your presentation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, maybe there is one of you wants to ask the questions. Once again, if you want to ask, you can fill in the chat column on Zoom, or you can raise hand and open the microphone to ask directly. Anyone want? Okay, we have one question. Wait a minute. It's from Yogi Mirza. Yogi? Okay.
Is my voice is loud and clear?
Okay, Yogi.
Confirm.
You can tell your name and where you come from and ask the question.
Okay. All right,
Please.
sir. Maybe I want to introduce myself first. My name is Yogi Mirza from Material and Metal Engineering, Kalimantan Institute of Technology. For Mr. Freddy, maybe I want to ask some question. Two questions, for example. First question is, what aspect and criteria make a research proposal is a good proposal? And the second question is, on the background, how we can determine the knowledge gap that are according with our proposal or suitable with our proposal. Because in the introduction before, you explained about the gap knowledge. We don't need to include everything about the gap knowledge, and we just need to picking the gap knowledge and how we can analyze the source of the gap knowledge is, oh, this is what we need to focus on. This is not, you don't need to focus on. Maybe that's my question, sir.
Okay. The question, this is a good question, I think. Number one, what is the name? Yogi Mirza.
Yeah.
Okay, Yogi Mirza. First, you would look, I remember about the last question first. Your last question, how to make a good proposal. One, you have to find the template. Second, you have to find the guide for the proposal. You have to fulfill the requirement for this call for proposal. Because the auditee, the reviewer will evaluate your proposal according to the evaluation standard. Normally, this standard evaluation was released with the call for proposal information. You have to find the guide or call proposal. you have to fulfill good proposal. In my opinion, if you can fulfill all this requirement, all this reviewer need to know, I think you will pass of this proposal. This is the first question. The second, about the gap. If you would like to find the gap, because this is only one proposal, you submit one proposal. It means please find only one gap, the most important thing. I say I was right in my presentation that the most important thing of you would like to study, not two or not three or not, but the most important thing you want to study. Maybe in the gap you find maybe 5, 6 or 7 gaps, but just for one proposal emphasize only one gap only. So because you need only one funding to success. If you have 5 funding, it may be confused for the reviewer. What you want to do? Everybody want to do any kind of research, any gap you want to fulfill, but one for one proposal, just find the most important thing of the gap, and then you focus on that gap. Okay, I think this answer I can give you, but what's the most important? We need more time to describe to discuss about the very important. This important thing is very abstract, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Freddy, for your answers, and thank you for Mr. Yogi for asking the questions. I think that's good questions. We have another, maybe one questions. Anybody want to ask? You can fill in the chat room, or you can raise hand to open the mic. Anyone? Please ask the question. We have about 5 minutes left.
May I ask?
Oh, okay. From, sorry, from, Dr. Yunita. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Freddy, Prof. Freddy, thank you very much for your
You're
time
welcome.
to be an invited speaker today. I would like to ask you, what is the difference between research objective and main purpose? Research objective and main purpose. What is the difference between two? Because sometimes I confuse how to write, how to deliver both of them similar. Okay, that's it.
And this is about the words main objective, aim, the aim. Actually, both of in English is mean what is your target. Some call proposal they use word objective goal, and the other the aim of the project. It's almost similar for me, and it's not so important for reviewers because we know what is this, what they want to know about our projects. So maybe from my opinion, it's not so big difference, but please stay to the guide for call proposal. And they explain all the word in that guide for proposal. What's the important thing? What's the term you have to use? If they would like to use objective, please stay with the objective of the proposal. I think this maybe somebody say that the objective is more broad, more wide purpose. The aim is maybe only small one specific something like this. Everybody have different opinion about this word. I think this maybe can satisfy you, but it is my opinion and my experience. It's not so different. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Freddy, thank you very much. I get it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yunita, for the question, and thank you for Professor Freddy. I mean, I think if we discuss in this session, it needs a lot of time. So maybe if we have some questions, would you would you mind to answer in the email, Professor?
In the email.
Yeah, if you mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
because
not a problem. Please email me.
yeah, this proposal is I think the detail is a lot of materials to explain. So I think we cannot discuss in this session. Anyway, thank you, Professor Freddy, for sharing your experience with all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, give Professor Freddy a round of applause. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Freddy. Okay, we finished for the second session. Next, we go to the third speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, the third speaker will be presented by Professor Yasuhisa Adachi. And the topic is same as the first. It's about, about writing proposal. Yeah, same with the Professor Freddy. How to write a proposal to reach international grant. And for your reminder, for the new participants who just come to this Zoom, please fill in the absence that provided by the operator in the column. So if you don't fill the absence, you will not get the electronic certificate. So make sure you fill the absence. That maybe you can search in the chat room. There is a link. Okay, before Professor Yasuhisa Adachi present his topics, so let me read about his CV, curriculum vitae. His full name is Yasuhisa Adachi, and his position is professor in Division of Appropriate Technology and Sustainable Development in Faculty of Life and Environmental Science in University of Tsukuba. And about the educational background, in March 1981, he got the Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Engineering in the University of Tokyo. And he continued and get the Master of Science in March 1983 in the same field, agricultural engineering, in the University of Tokyo. And he continues and get the Doctor of Philosophy, the PhD, in March 1988 in same department, agricultural engineering, in the University of Tokyo. And Professor Adachi topic is about polymer, including water retention in sandy substrates modified by cross-linked polymeric microgels. And about his age index in Scopus is 40, it's really high. And about the awards, he get the academic awards provided by GSID-RE in 2015. Hello, Professor Adachi. Can you hear me?
Hello. I think there are some mistakes for the my achievement of the awards, but maybe it's okay.
Sorry, Professor.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready, Professor?
Yes, I'm a bit ready, but in my record that I will start 11 o'clock, but it starts now. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think the time is earlier.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Please welcome Professor Adachi.
Okay, thank you. I don't know the concept, and also I have not so clear idea for the writing good proposal or something international grant. But now I think as a Professor Enaga Sensei said that just speak about my experience, and I also heard from the Nisa son that is the organizer that there will be 200 students joining this conference. So I bit changed my topics because if I speak something my research, probably people are not able to follow these lectures. So I put kind of topics why the grant is important. I added yesterday's. This is just my opinions, but maybe it will be helpful to motivate the student to write grant proposals. This is the most important, I think. As Enaga Sensei said that motivation is important. Okay. So may I share the screens? My materials.
Maybe operator can help to share Professor. Okay.
Sorry.
Would you please full screen, Professor?
Just a moment. Can you see me? Is it okay?
Yeah, but not full screen, Professor.
Not full screens.
Yes.
Okay. Something wrong, I think. My computer is freeze at this moment. No. So just a moment.
Okay. As a reminder again for participants who just attends this workshop, you can fill the attendance that operator give in the Zoom. Don't forget to fill it, because if you don't fill, you don't get the certificate. So any problem, Professor?
Yeah, at this moment I have a problem for the just here. And it is still not satisfying to you?
Yes, it's not full screen, but I think that without full screen, I mean, maybe the previous one is better, Professor.
Yeah, I have two monitors. One is full screen. The other is I can see, but now I don't know how to control at the moment.
Maybe you can press escape, Professor.
Okay. Maybe let me allow to use these screens.
Okay. Okay, Professor.
My name is Yasuhisa Adachi, and professor in Tsukuba Universities. And I thank you to the organize and also invite me to the unique conference. And my title today is the red one, Writing Proposal to Research International Grant. So maybe I should say maybe the meaning of these issues and how to get a grant, and also using a grant to come to Tsukuba University or to come to Japan in general. I will introduce something. I will speak something about this. And the topics of today is importance of international grant. I have a kind of two examples, the historical approach. And I also introduce my cases. And after that, I will introduce something about my research. And lastly, I will kind of show you a possibility to apply PhD programs. And my ideas in the beginning is I have a lot of students so far, but most successful grant is obtain a PhD in a rather long period. And after getting a grant and coming to the PhD, they are very successful to develop in the future also. So this is a kind of my experience. So maybe more people should think of this way. So let's start the importance of international grant. I would like to start my case, my experience. What I have done during the last maybe the 4 decades already is working on the stability of colloid. Colloid is a kind of
Professor. Sorry,
colloid.
The presentation is not moved in your slide. It's still in the first slide, yeah.
Okay. Something wrong.
Or maybe you don't need to share screen like previous view.
So what you are looking is not same as that I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm looking at, this is the first slide. Your photo and your...
Yeah, this is the first slide. And I move next slide. Oh, it doesn't move. Oh, sorry.
Okay, I think it's now full screen, Professor.
Now full screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see still?
Yeah, I think this view is okay.
Okay. And so maybe I'm sorry that now, what kind of picture you can see at this moment?
Now is the second slide.
Second slide.
Sorry, yes.
And also, sorry, if I took this, how about this? It becomes.
If you press that switch, it's how to say?
It becomes better.
Yeah, but it's minimized.
Minimized.
Yeah. It's not full screen.
Okay, today's my computer is something wrong. I think I'm afraid.
I think the previous one is okay, Professor.
Previous one.
Yeah, without full screen is okay.
Without full screen, sorry.
It is more a wider size.
Okay, because I put
okay, I think this is better, Professor.
This is better.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know why, but maybe I will ask later to my friend. At this moment, there is nobody in this room, so I cannot ask anything to my friend. Okay. So I have 4 topics. One is the importance of the international grant, and the second one is a case of my cases, and also I will introduce my research roughly. And also the current possibility to apply PhD grant Tsukuba universities. And what I have done so far is maybe I already worked on close to 40 years. And I'm studying the colloid interface, colloid particle, colloid dispersions. Colloid is particles suspended in the waters. The size is 1 microns. And stability of colloid means colloid sometimes make a flocculate, make a aggregate. Maybe you can imagine that water treatment. The turbid water becomes clean water by flocculations. And this also happens in the food. Milk is a stable dispersions, but yogurt is a coagulated dispersions. And stability means the dispersed state and the flocculated state. The how to say, the change means the stable suspensions, unstable suspensions. And this is controlled. This can be predicted by the chemical conditions. And this theory is DLVO. DLVO stands for the Deliagin, Landau, Ferrier, Oberg, 4 big researchers. And they can predict the stability of colloid, criteria of the stability colloid by theories. And what I have been working is after colloid dispersion becomes unstable, they make a flux. And the flux will also change their shapes or morphology by the mechanical conditions. So this is also important for the applications. So flocculated, so mostly I'm studying a flocculated state, and flux are most important unit of transportations. And flux absorbed many pollutants on the surface. So even the pollutants are not easy to dissolve in the waters. If the colloid particle moves and make an aggregate, we can remove that. We have the pollutant will be spread out. So the control of the stability of colloid is important, and also control of the aggregate morphology is also important. So controller doesn't work. Maybe, okay. Sorry. Do you see my slide at this moment?
Yes, Professor.
Importance of the getting international grant. So yes. I say that the DLVO theory just now, DLVO stands for the 4 important researchers, big researchers, Deliagin, Landau, Ferrier, and Oberg. And probably you know the name of Landau. Landau is a very big theoretical physicist in the Russia. But actually, he is working in the Ukraine, in the Kharkov. Is working. Deliagin is kind of working in Moscow, and Ferrier and Oberg is a person in the Netherlands, and DLVO is a kind of groups, Russian groups and Dutch groups. But after the World War II, and during the World War II, they are working independently. And after the World War II, they found that they are doing really same things. And this academic achievement was called DLVO theory later on. And the DLVO theory is scientifically important, but the development, we need some collaboration with Russia and Ukraine. Maybe the Ukraine is at this moment almost impossible to develop these kind of issues. And after that, Ferrier and Oberg, they found that they are doing the same things, and they developed more. East side and west side has developed many things. So maybe the DLVO theory also has a meaning of how to say political relation between countries. So, but if the Landau get the scholarships, he has contributed to the development of these theories only 3 days. It was said, and other people's are almost life works, but he has suggested very important aspect of the theories, and by this way, colloid chemists, but not only the colloid chemists, also the many industrial developed. So maybe the Landau get a very successful scholarships and meet the against, but such development is only possible to meet peoples and develop. So scholarships later on reward the societies. So maybe it's one aspect of the successful scholarships. Another successful scholarships is more than 200 years ago. Is Julius Liebig. Maybe Liebig is a very strong chemist, but he has, at the age of 21, I think, he was invited to a laboratory of Berthollet schools in Paris. And at Paris, they are working Gay-Lussac. But this Berthollet school is, Berthollet school is running by the financial minister of Napoleon, by Lavoisier. Lavoisier is one of the old chemists, but is very important for the military, military for the French Napoleon militaries. But he learned how to run the laboratories, and they also study with Gay-Lussac. He learned well education is given to him. And it was Alexander Humboldt. Alexander Humboldt is a person, a very big sponsor to Liebig, to introduce and take the Gay-Lussac places. So maybe it is a kind of international grant 200 years ago. But after coming back to Germany, Liebig started a laboratory near the university. In the beginning, the university doesn't allow him to have a laboratory, so he paid himself to have a kind of small spaces. Now it becomes museums, and you can visit these places near Frankfurt, but it's a kind of large houses, but he has innovated the way of educations like Berthollet schools, and he has showed that he has developed draft chambers. Draft chamber is now all university have the draft chambers in the chemical department, and also the desk for the experiment. And by this way, it makes possible to educate many chemists together. And method of the education based of experimenting chemistry has been also developed, started by Liebig. But what he has done is not only for the organic chemistry itself, he has developed inorganic fertilizers. Everybody knows nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate and potassium is a very important element of the fertilizers. So his concept is if we satisfy the inorganic conditions, maybe the fertilizer can be used for agricultural productions. But previously, inorganic substance, inorganic fertilizer, organic fertilizer is majorities. But he has made industry to produce inorganic fertilizers and sell them. But effectiveness of his fertilizer was studied after he had developed the fertilizers. And this is times, and this time is almost continue to this experiment is continuing. The upper side is fertilizer with fertilizers, and lower side is without any fertilizers. But there is very good correlation when we have the same amount of the chemical component in the organic and inorganic doesn't matter. But it is proved by the long run experiment, 100 years experiment. Now it is continuous 150 years experiment. So by this way, he has successful to have fertilizers, and also the way of education opened the way to educate many chemists. And more than 20 chemists will be awarded as a Nobel Prize. And after that, in addition to chemistries, because the fertilizer is effective or not, in the experiment, the Professor Fisher is involved, and Fisher is developed the concept of statistics. Is a major field of mathematics, and also he had developed a discussion with economists. What the natural resources, land and labors, with Karl Marx in a capitalist Germany. So he's working in England, and they are kind of Russian student. So this is a kind of example. Without scholarships of the Levy, such things have never happened. So maybe the scholarships will reward the societies. I think that Indonesia has a large potential for the future development, natural resources, industries, with maybe the bioresources. Palm oil industry is very large potential, and you have also good agricultural conditions. And also the young peoples. Here we have more than 200 young peoples. So it is obvious to get an international grant by you. Maybe if you write a grant, but it is also rewarded to your life, but also reward to the society. So this is writing a grant is really important to travelers and to meet peoples. But also it is also necessary to how to say, to achieve studies, research, so and getting a PhDs. And if you got a PhD, you can be a leaders. PhD is a kind of license to be a leader of running. Maybe in the times at this moment we are talking about science, but also you can be a good big managers, also a big politicians. Maybe PhD is very important, I think. And my cases, maybe I can say my CV again, but I have the master times. I got a kind of offshore money from the companies who sponsored to me to come to Indonesia, because agriculture and engineering, Indonesia is very famous for kind of active for the irrigations, and I visited Indonesia. So maybe after that, Indonesia becomes a bit special country to me, and sometimes I met a friend there, and after I finished my PhD times, I got an JSPS Young Research Fellows. It is not so big grant, but even the grant is not so big grant, but if we got official monies, and it is the starting of the programs for the, how to say, promotions. And in the beginning, it is a small monies, but this grant will have gradually becomes, even in the kind of period of the grant is finished, we have an opportunity to next applications. The next application becomes bigger. And so maybe getting the offshore money is also important for you. And I have another opportunity to visit Wageningen agriculture universities in Netherlands, and by the next stand for the Ministry of Education. and also sponsored by the Netherlands because my research was successful. But by this way, I have two lines. One is agriculture science. And the other is I got jobs in Tsukuba universities. I started communication with college scientists. And the college scientist has also contact with the working in agriculture universities. So maybe I have a two line of my educations. But so the first one is here. I'm a land consolidation for food production. I finished essentially this field. And by the way, soil and water is two important components for me studies, but it is not enough. The thermodynamics is very important to understand. And I was working with an opportunity working for the NARO stand for the National Agricultural Research Organizations, and the livestock and waste water something. And by the way, my department has symbols of old dogs. This is a dog, Hachi, is a kind of symbols, and the dog is more famous than professor. Here, the professor in the 100 years ago, but the dog remains his names rather than his professors. But because of this, I learned two kind of discipline. One is agriculture science, and I have visited the tropical land. This is a picture for I was very young to visit a tropical orchard, yeah, and study. But this kind of interest is started when I was very small children. I was 5. So I have kind of playing with soils. It's very interesting. And after that, I get jobs in Tsukuba universities. I met Professor Furusawa. And Professor Furusawa is educated by chemist and physicist, and in the laboratory of the 3 former University of Tokyo Kyoikudai and Education University in Tokyo. And there are the Nobel Prize winners, Tomonaga Shinichiro was there. But Furusawa is a pupil of Sei Hachisu, and his work is to show the evidence how the DLVO theory is effective. Because DLVO is a theory, but there is not so clear chemical evidence. So that's they are very successful to show the DLVO theory is effective. It is also that 50 years ago. And I was lucky to meet Furusawa to study the core science, and he introduced me to visit Wageningen to do that. And after that, I organized, maybe recently I organized many conferences, and I become a bit famous. And I also, educate an opportunity to finish the PhD. Many PhD are finished, so maybe our places becomes called the center of corals. But it is not only by me, but other previous effort done by Furusawa and Hachisu. And because I was lucky to introduce by Furusawa, I have an opportunity to visit Wageningen agriculture universities. But Professor Rikurema is my supervisor, but he is the first pupil of Overbeek. And Rikurema is retired, but Cohenstadt finished is coming from the polymers. And he had a postdoc experience in the Professor Dujan. Dujan got a Nobel Prize. So there are some very big line of science is connecting to the good peoples is really effective after my research activities, after the experience in wagons. So I met Hans Diklemers, and here my another leader of the Oshima is here, but Hans Diklemers is the first pupil of Obervik in the laboratory of Fanthof. And other times, Obervik and Deliagin is meeting in the after the World War II. But this is very famous photos, and so the DLBO theory is the center of the colloid interface. But maybe the colloid is not so familiar to you. And I remind you that what is a colloid? Colloid is related to food, soils, cosmetics, paint, maybe paper and microbiologies. And what is a colloid? Is just a particle with about less than 1 microns. So large enough for the statistical treatment. Statistic means large, sufficiently large than molecules, but small enough for from our bodies. Maybe something between molecular size and our sizes. Maybe 100, maybe 10,000 times smaller than 10,000 larger than molecules, 10,000 smaller than our sizes. But very important for industries, daily life, human health, and the environment. Size is an important concept, just size. And with this size, we can see the Brownian motions, light scatterings, and absorption surface phenomena becomes very important. And also we have the sticky liquid, and also the interface with electricity becomes important. But by this fundamental concept, maybe there are many practical applications. Maybe this side in the environment, soil, water, waste management, pesticides, blue green algae, correct facilitate microbiologies, and the food and so on, and chemicals, and also the minings. And third is my research activities. And what I'm doing is turbidity of waters, flocculation is important for the control, the removal of this kind of issues. So I just studying this, but meaning is very important to control the soil erosions, to control the chemical transportations. Here, the pictures, aggregation take places of the river mouth. This is the picture of the cesium concentrations. So cesium is transported with the colloid, and when the aggregation takes place in the river mouth, it will be sticked. And control the groundwater quality is also important. And quality in natural environment is very, how to say, heterogeneous, polydispersed, much component, porous, non-spherical, unsteady. But I think it is important. Framework of understandings are important, and also it is necessary to microscopic information to macroscopic phenomena is important. So that's why I started the study of the model colloid and make a framework of studies. And this framework is was possible to use the colloid particles with uniform spheres. But this is really, the concept becomes really important for the carbon cycles, pollution controls, global warming. Microplastic antibiotic resistance are also always controlled by the coagulations behaviors. So what makes simple is one is chemical conditions, but I added a hydrodynamic condition. DLV of theory is on the chemical side, and the kinetics of flocculation is determined, but it is related to the structure, and the sedimentation rheology is determined by like this way. And so that maybe that this framework is becomes a very important concept of practical studies like this. So once we control the colloidal phenomena by structures, we can apply many fields of the water treatment, transportation of the cohesive sediment, and marine snows, and also the field what control the soils and the erosions in the field. So by this way, we have started the fundamental studies, and results are very definite, have many applicabilities, and more possibilities of future in the long runs. And one example of the definite scientific contribution is that I have one concept that Einstein's. We use the concept of Einstein's. We can identify the layer thickness of the layers, which is very important to control the aggregations. Another aspect that I can meet a lot of people with the concept of the fundamental studies, and we can also the framework, but in this framework, many people can come to contact with us. So maybe I have successfully to organize an international conference of the pollution, against pollutions, but also, so this is an example of the meeting organized in Kyoto already 12 years ago. And I have organized another conference in the rather, how to say, fundamental issues on electrokinetics. Electrokinetics is in the colloid surface is a charge. Charge has an ion atmospheres. How to control the ionic atmosphere is really important, not only for the environmental issues, but the medical uses and material science and so on. But fundamental issue is also worked out by the model systems. We can apply many things. And it was really successful.
Professor.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Finish?
Professor Adachi.
Yeah.
3 minutes remaining.
Okay. I will finish now. Maybe my concept is the science model is important, and maybe that technology needs to solve the realities. So one is specific, but it is important to pay attention to scientific field. And maybe the science is more important than technology. So maybe the balance of the is result in the engineering science is a really important aspect of the Etica, I think. Another aspect of the current possibility to apply, to contact us. We have a new team of electrokinetics, and we have a group of agricultural forest engineering, bioenvironment engineering, post-harvest engineering, and forest engineering. And maybe we can have some staffs, maybe young staffs, and we still have an irrigation project like this. And to meet people, this is also NARO is also a part of our universities. We can also have a menu for the studies. So maybe the JICA is another sponsor to studies. Land energy systems engineering are also part of this. Maybe we have a lot of, how to say, possibility to invite you. But how to communicate with us? This is an application called in a food. How to apply for this? There are some grant mixed, maybe the general grant, but this possibility is very low. Maybe the mixed Asian leaders is a very, how to say, easiest way to get the mixed fund. Then we are in the program on the Tsukuba University programs. And the JST is now providing a new scholarships. And JICA has another one. So how to do that is a very specific. And you need to meet people's here, TGSWs. This is also the end of next month. We have some conference, not only from our subject. We are registered in bio section 2, but registration is it's easy. Just put on TGSW 2022 and find the connections, and you can register. And our project is bioflow creation and smart sludge for soil improvement. If you have an interest, just contact to us. But from fundamental science to colloid and interface application bioresource environment. And also we have developing a kind of network in the Asian time domains, and also sometimes we connected to Europe. Maybe let us draw a picture of the realities. Maybe future is not. So this is a kind of ending remarks, I think. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Professor Adachi, for your presentation. It's a nice presentation. And also, this is information for us, for lecturers or for students who are interested in colloid topics, especially in agricultural field. You can go to Professor Adachi Labs.
Maybe
it's a good opportunity.
Not only for agriculture, we have more fundamental studies now at this moment. Of course, we have an interest in agriculture application and environmental applications, but we are working on the fundamental issues. So maybe any kind of application relating to colloid is acceptable for us. Yeah, even though that we have an acceptance from at this moment, we are working on a mathematician together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the new group of electrokinetics is just a mathematician from the Indians.
Yeah. Okay, Professor. Thank you for your information. So now is the session for question and answers. Is there any questions about writing proposal research from Professor Adachi? Anyone? Okay, there is someone who raised hands from KC. KC Define. Hello, KC?
Yes, hello, sir. Can you hear my voice?
Okay.
Yes.
Please tell your name and where you come from, and you can ask the question.
Okay, my name is Casey, a student from Kalimantan Teknologi Institut. First, I want to apologize because I'm not turning my camera on. The signal is kind of bad here. So move to the question. I want to ask personal opinion from Adachi Sensei.
Yeah.
So my question is just in case if I planning to propose for international scholarship or funding research, how do I manage relationship with funders or international grant? How to take an approach? Do I need to make personal approach like knowing each other beforehand, or
maybe you need to find your supervisor first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe you need to find your supervisor first on your interest. Do you have already some supervisors, counterpart, maybe, for example, in what you want to study?
Well, I haven't planned about the scholarship or funding research but my supervisor kind of recommend me on some research and scholarship.
Yeah. But the scholarships, we need some reasons for the applications, I think.
Yes.
So if simply want to go to Japan, is not. I think it's not so good recommended. But once you need some plan for the your interest, based on your studies, you can find some people's. Maybe if you read an articles, you can find some. Maybe for the papers, you can find people. And if you find some belongings, maybe you can contact how to contact. But before that, you need to study for what he's doing, or maybe by this way, research is important. Without research, maybe maybe I asked my question to my graduate student when I was invited to other universities. My simple questions: Further, all graduate students carry out research. Do you know the meanings? The answer, they are very at a loss because these are unpredictable questions. But by doing research, we can join the communities. So maybe first issue is if you have some laboratory in the IT car, you have the supervisors. With your supervisors, you can study something. Maybe by this way you can find a specific interest, and with a specific interest you can start a communication to who is the appropriate persons. Or if you're not so much studied so details, maybe try to find the peoples who will welcome to So first issue for the international grant is to carry out some research in your universities, I think, is the most easiest way to start, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's clear, and I'm afraid the time is running out of time, Professor. So,
I have one announcement. That is if you have for the staffs, if you don't have the PhD degrees, there are very strong encouragement of our government that the staff without PhD are welcome to Japan and study to get a PhD and return to home countries. And getting a PhD becomes a kind of potential leader to be this field. So we are organizing this kind of project, So this is a very big opportunity. The ratio of acceptance is much larger than normal scholarships for the staffs for the who doesn't have a PhD. So if the student finish the masters, you start work in the universities, maybe it's easier to come to get such jobs. At this moment, yeah. The program,
useful information, Professor. Thank you, Professor Adachi, for sharing your experience with all of us. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you, Professor. Next, we go to the final speakers, the last but not least, from Mr. Ahmed Amin, and the topic is same as previous about strategy of preparing research management group. And I remind again about the attendance. Don't forget for the new participants who just come, need to fill the attendance that provided by the committees in the chat room. Okay, before Mr. Ahmed presents about these topics, let me read his curriculum vitae. First, his full name is Ahmed Amin, and his position is a research student, I think PhD student, same like me, from the Welding Institute in the UK, United Kingdom. And about the educational background, from 2014 until 2017, he got the Bachelor of Engineering in Metallurgy at the Government College of Engineering, Salem, India. And then for the MSc, Master of Science, from 2017 until 2019 in Engineering Material Science at the Royal Institute of Teknologi, KTH, in Stockholm. And now, from 2021 until now, ongoing, is a PhD student in AM Metallurgy at NSIRC, TWI, and Coventry University. And also, Mr. Amin has a lot of professional experience, such as research intern at National Metallurgical Laboratory in India. Also summer job with assistant professor Greta Lindwall in KTH Stockholm. And also he has have experience for student recruitment council member at Government College of Engineering in India. Hello, Mr. Amin.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you clearly. So how are you, Mr. Amin?
I'm fine. How are you?
So you are in the UK now or in the
Yeah.
India?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm in UK right now. So.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready, Mr. Amin?
Oh yeah. I'll just quickly check.
Yeah, maybe you can present about 20 minutes. Okay, let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ahmed Amin.
Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me for the presentation, and thank you, Professor Adachi. I feel it's a really tough job to follow Professor Adachi with the presentation, but here goes my try, here goes nothing. So I'm a doctoral student in Coventry University, but most of my works is with TWI, which is in UK, the TWI being the Welding Institute. So I'm working on wire and arc additive manufacturing, which is a new kind of additive manufacturing itself being a novel process. But wire and arc is a very good innovative one. It's just like, changing welding into additive manufacturing. And welding was the one which inspired additive manufacturing. So it's just going back in loops right now. And I'm also working on high entropy alloy coatings for surface engineering, and it's another institute with TWI. It's called Material Innovation Center, and that's with University of Leicester. So I'm partially associated with Leicester. They pay me. So just a brief introduction about wire and arc additive manufacturing. So additive manufacturing, it requires a feedstock and it requires a power source. So the feedstock is wire and the power source is arc. There goes in the name. And it has specific advantages, such as it has like a very high rate of deposition, and it is not limited by deposition size, which is very crucial for other additive manufacturing processes. And the most important thing for industry, it's very economical. They don't need special equipments for wire arc additive manufacturing, and the feedstock is widely available. But given its advantages, it also has its disadvantages or limitations, such as like it has a very poor finish and very poor build quality. And microstructurally speaking, it has complete inhomogeneity throughout the microstructure. So you will have a varied microstructure. So it starts with, if you know a little bit about welding, it starts with like a heat affected zone microstructure. Then it goes into equiax microstructure. And finally, you will have a welded microstructure. So it's a complex microstructure to speak. And my second research, which is on high entropy alloy coating. So if I can go a little on about high entropy alloys. So high entropy alloys is an actually misleading term. It is how it was introduced to be, because they thought that having high entropy is what stabilized these alloys. So coming back to high entropy alloys, it's multi-principal element alloys. So the alloys that we know, kind of steel, aluminum, or mostly single principal element alloys, you have a major alloying element, which might be iron or aluminum, and you will have minor alloying additions such as chromium, nickel, copper, silicon, you name it. But high entropy alloy, it has multiple principal elements, which means there would be like equal contribution of different elements such as chromium, manganese, cobalt, iron, nickel. So this is the Cantor system as it's called. But there are also other systems where you have a mixture of other alloys on equal composition. So, and the thing that I am working on is modifying the composition based on thermodynamic simulations. So it's possible through high throughput calculation to find out, theoretically find out the strength, the hardness, and other properties of the material, but it also needs to be tested. So I'm just in the simulation, and hopefully this project will go into the testing phase probably by next year. So that is about me, but from here on out, I would just try to go about the research teams that I've been associated with. To be frank, I don't have as much experience as the professors that were speaking before me, but what I could say is I am kind of an individual researcher that is transitioning into a research group, and I guess there's a lot of other people in the audience who are in a similar phase to me. So I would kind of share my perception on managing a research team or planning for a research team or research group. So the research teams that I am part of is two different kind of research teams. So my main PhD, the research team is kind of intra-organizational research team. So it's within the same organization. We have a research program called co-research program. And this research program particularly looks at the wire AM. And within the wire AM, we have three different research projects. One is for process, microstructure, and entity. So I'm working with microstructure. There's other person that's working with process, and there's other person that's working with entity. So we need to work together for the unified benefit, for the unified output of the research project. The second one is a collaborative research. It's between various organizations. To start with, the organization that I am associated with is MATIC and TWI, but there are also research groups from other organizations, such as from the European Union, you have the EPMA, and there's a powder distributor. There's around 8 research team that is working on this. So we have shared goals and predefined things that needs to be achieved in the given time frame. So that is collaborative on a larger scale of research. So I would start by trying to define strategy. So strategy is a term that you would have and you will constantly hear about, and people throw it out. And what is a strategy? So it is a term that refers to a complex web of thoughts, ideas, insights, your experiences, goals, and expertise. So these provide a general guidance for special actions in pursuit of particular ends. And the strategy, it needs to be flexible. It needs to be both well-defined, as in what you're about to do, and the requirement for the project, but it also needs to be open enough to adapt the changes so that you can design the strategy on the go. So planning for research, there is two things that you need to consider, or two different plans that you need to make before you plan for a research project. I would say the first one is plan for your own career, because you're the one who would be managing the research project. And it's kind of important that you have your goals set in place such that it won't affect the research project that you're going to manage or choose. So it's important to kind of manage things like what you would be doing in 5 years, or would you be interested in this research project? Where do you want to be down the lane, and what kind of career path would you like to choose? If it is the same as the research project that you're going to manage, you wouldn't have any hassle managing that. And would you be able to self-motivate yourself, in times of difficult parts of the research? And the second one is plan for the productivity of the unit. It is very different, because the first one you have complete different over the plan of your career, but the second one you need to include consideration from many staffs and students who belong to the project, and you should also include the expectations from the stakeholders. So planning research strategies helps to build and sustain the reputation of the academics that you represent. And it is sort of an investment, because it leads to attracting quality staffs and students who in the future become an integral part of your research team. So responsibilities are few as a researcher. So other than the obvious responsibilities such as planning and supervising the project, monitoring the progress of the project, and reporting the same, there are other responsibilities which might not be well known for the researcher. So I would just highlight those. So the first one is understanding that your research has an impact that is wider than what you actually perceive. So it attracts mostly national and possibly international interests. And you should ensure research integrity. Make sure the research program is transparent, accountable, and scientifically sound. And try to build relationships within the organization. So not just with the leaders or the faculty board, for example, but also your research team, the people that you manage. So if the good relationship establishes you kind of a bridge in between like people. And why it's important is because you need to communicate with people effectively. Good communication most probably like eliminates half of the problems with the research team. So project management. Project management is it's kind of a necessity on itself. So much so that it itself has its own course. Like the US has a institute called Project Management Institute, and the British has something called like Association of Project Managers. What is project management tool? So to put it simply, it is the process of getting a project completed on time. It is application of your knowledge, your talents, your technique, the available tools, and all the learned techniques to implement it to the activities of the project and to meet the requirements. What is required from you as a project manager is you need to identify the requirements that addresses the needs and concerns, and you should understand and meet the expectation of the stakeholders because you're answerable to them. And finally, what are the tools that you could use for project management? There are many tools that is available for you as a researcher or a research manager, such as mind mapping and Gantt chart, and like managing your research by objective. So assigning people, different objectives and making sure that they follow it. Kind of feels like a RASIC chart, but it's kind of outdated. But yeah, managing by objectives is a fine one. So the project management is accomplished through appropriate application of process groups. So these requires knowledges on different territories, such as like initiating, like integration, scope, time, the cost and risk. So these are steps that you need to start follow. You initiated a project and you planned the like flow chart, or you plan the flow line of the project and you execute it. Then you monitor and control how the progress of the project goes on. And finally, you report it or close it and conclude the project and make sure the project has met the outcomes that you set out for when planning for it. So the etiquettes that are required for a project manager, it's not kind of a rules, but it would be nicer if you follow these etiquettes as a project manager. So first, you should make sure that like you have an agreeable outcomes. So this is not just within your team, but also say if you're getting a grant or proposal from someone. So you need to make sure that you have agreeable outcomes that has been set. So saying like this is the project that I'm going to do, and this is the outcome that we are expecting to get, or may not get. So that is the kind of agreement that you should land upon before starting the project, or probably in the proposal stage. The second one is like you need to develop a comprehensive plan. So even though your plan may not be like complex enough to like say build a skyscraper or something, it must be enough to convey your ideas and what you think. So whatever that you have in your mind, you should be able to effectively communicate to the people who are listening. So say if they are the funders, they are the one, you don't just need to convince them, but you need to make them understand your perspective and like what do you think will be the impact of the project that you're proposing. And determine the resources, not just in terms of like people available or like what are the staff that would be working on the project, but also physical resources. Given the dynamic nature of the current economic situation, it's better to determine and like say for solid like this is going to be this, and like you're going to need this much of resources. but it's also important to note down, like, how the quality of staff that you would require in your project team and like how they would affect your project. So it's better to set, like, state a case and like for what can be realistically achieved with the time frame that you're proposing or like they are determining. So having a realistic schedule is very important because you should not do more than like what can be done. So it is essential to accurately estimate the current quality and quantity of research outputs so that you don't promise more than that you can deliver. And be willing to change. So, and I know, like previously I mentioned, like you should have a comprehensive plan, but that plan should be, open enough to keep the original project goals in place. But when there are like unexpected events that may occur that necessitate some change to your plan, it is important that you're communicative of these changes that has come along unexpectedly, and you need also to be able to communicate that these are the changes that you're making for the project so that you avoid any loss of cost or like overestimation of the budget, you name it. And be willing to try new things. You could have started out the project with what was available, like what tools you were available or like what techniques you thought would be better, but research is kind of like a learning experience, so you kind of keep building yourself and you kind of keep updating you with like techniques, and also your research team would be the people who are involved in the research project, they would be kind of updating themselves with what are the new techniques that can be followed, like what are the new methods that can be followed. So be receptive of the ideas, and if you think it would be effective than what you initially planned for, you should take that into consideration and you incorporate into the existing plan without changing so much, and make the whole process effective. So it's kind of a tricky one because when you bring in like new changes, you also need to be communicative, as I said before. So it is all about like maintaining the flow properly, but also like bringing in new changes whenever it's necessary. And finally, become a leader. This is the most important part of like all the things. If you have a good leadership skill, like this is what implements all the etiquettes that I've mentioned above. So this ensures that you you follow through all the things that you wanted to do as a like project manager when you set out. So yeah, that was the presentation that I had. So thank you very much for listening to that.
Thank you. Has given us a great presentation with a young age but extraordinary productivity. Okay, maybe someone in the audience wants to ask the questions. I remind again, who want to ask, you can fill in the chat room or you can raise hand. Okay, we have the person who want to ask from Fikan Mubarak. Okay, Mr. Fikan, can you speak? Hello, Mr. Fikan. Hello, Mr. Fikan. Can you hear me?
Hello, check.
Yeah. Okay, I can hear you. Please tell your name, where you come from.
Sorry, I cannot hear the voice. Wait.
Hello.
We can hear you, Mr. Fikan.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear my voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Amin. I'm sorry, I cannot turn my camera on due to bad internet connection. First, I want to thank Mr. Amin for the participation as speaker in this forum. For your information, he is my friend from KDH. So it's kind of like a reunion here. It is very interesting topic, by the way. So I have questions regarding the managing research group. It is about the difficulties. Do you find any difficulties when we are joining the research group? Because it will be international research group, right? With the different background. So do you have any suggestion, or do you have any story about joining international research group?
The main difficulty that I faced and most of the colleagues that we have faced is conveying of the research problem. So when we are starting a research, I've seen this like people that who have finished the research before me and like people who are joining the research right now, they can't get hold of what is the problem that they are going to investigate in. So they always end up, spending a lot of time trying to figure that out. And that is a significant part of your research career. So if you're a doctoral student, that is a significant part of your doctoral life. So it is better to have it well defined and like well communicated to like whoever that is joining a research team, so they could easily catch the ropes and like learn the ropes.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Mr. Amin.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tikan, for the questions. Anyone else want to ask? We have 3 minutes left. Okay, I think I move to Syahrullah Zulfikar. Hello.
Yeah, thank you for this positive. Are my voice are clear?
Yeah,
clear.
Yeah, okay. That means the introduction of my names is Muhammad Syahrul Zulfikar, and I'm from Kalimantan Institute of Teknologi. So, Mr. Amin, I want to ask some questions. My question is related to our research. So, do we have to anticipate the failure of research or determine the success of our research? So that's my question. Thank you very much.
Could you, I will just repeat the question to make sure that if I got it wrong. So is it like, do we have to anticipate failure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So do we have to anticipate the failure of our research or determine the success of our research?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So I would say it is always a very good design plan to include the certain areas that would like are more prone to failure. So it is not just like a good technique, but it also shows that like the process that you're going to investigate. That this is kind of a gray region where it couldn't work out as much as you expect it to be, and it's good. So if you're setting out to say investigate something and you're not sure if it is going to be like positive, you're going to succeed, or if you're going to fail, but if you fail, it's not a bad thing, because you fail it, but you do all the research in a systematic manner. So you can document all those things, and you could mention, okay, I followed these steps and this procedure or this methods, and it didn't work out. So it is kind of a stepping stone or like a building block for your peers to follow and make sure they don't repeat the same mistake. So it's essential that you don't consider it as a failure, but as an attempt which didn't turn out to be what you expected it to be. I hope it answers. Yeah.
Okay, is that
Yes,
clear?
thank you very much for your answers.
Okay, okay, thank you, Zulfikar and Mr. Ahmed. I think in this section we can end. Thank you once again to Mr. Ahmed for sharing your experience to us. And ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, finally, once again, Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. And also thanks to the speakers, all the speakers who have shared valuable experience with us, and also sharing the knowledge is very useful for us, and hopefully it can be our motivation to work further. And we next to the conclusions by moderator, by me. So let me read the conclusions for today's topics. The first one is about strategy of preparing research management group. So from Professor Enagea mentioned that there is three important things for the the research group. The first one, we need to determine the research topic and how to decide our topics. We can make several topics, like Professor Enyaga has a topic for development of photomagnetic materials in BDD, boron dot diamonds. And also in the second part is about the persons, including students and scientists. So we can make a collaboration, because collaboration is very important. And not only in the internal, we can make a collaboration with outside, I mean, like a medical team, maybe in the company, information science, group meetings, and else. And the third is about the grants, because the grant is a money matter, so it needs to be funded. This research management groups needs to focus and needs to motivate to our students. So we can expect the students to continue his focus research, and also we can sending the students to another university to make to encourage the study. And from Professor Yasuhisa Adachi, we learn from him that we can learn from history about the successful scholars like Guy Lussac, Justus Liebig, Fisher, and else, how they can develop the education, for example, in the chemistry. And also we know that Indonesia has large potential for the future development, like a natural resource, industry, and bioresource. And about the writing proposals to reach international grants, we learned that we need to mention how the call proposals guideline, so we can choose the suitable topic from us. And also we need to know the basic writing proposals, so we can consider whether we choose the international grant or local grant. And the basic writings including title, abstract, methods, and also another part. And about from Mr. Amin, so about the research groups, we need to know the strategy and planning about research, responsibilities, like understanding how the impact of our research, and also how to build relationships with organization. And the important things is we need to communicate daily, weekly in the staffs. And the project management, we need to know how the projects completed on time. And also for the process groups, we need to initiate, plan, execute, monitor, and control. And the last things is about ethics for project management. Okay, finally, we've been through this event. As a moderator, I apologize if there are mistakes in the hosting in this event. And once again, last reminder, for you participants. Don't forget to fill the attendance in the chat rooms to get an electronic certificate. That's all from me. And from my closing statements, the future belongs to those believe in the beauty of their dreams. Okay, from me, the end. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will return to Mr. Alpha.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much to all honorable speakers who has explained their points and help us learn and give us teachings about how to make the best proposal and the best research proposal to get the best research grant, and most importantly, how to plan our own research to make it become the most be able to reach the research goal that we are aiming to. And also we are deeply thankful for the moderators, for the today's moderator, Mr. Andromeda Dwi Laksono, MSc, for his help in organizing this event and also his help to understand and also deliver the questions to the speakers and help us understand more about the points that has been delivered by the speakers. Thus, now is the time for us, the committee, to deliver our deep gratefulness to all the speakers. The first one to Professor Dr. Yaswaki Einaga, the second one Professor Dr. Rernat Freddy, the third one to the Professor Yasuhisa Adachi, and the fourth one to the Mr. Ahmed Amin, and also to the moderator Andromeda Dwi Laksono MSc. So we will give deep thanks to you all by the e-certificates and placards. To the committee, please. Thank you to the committee, and as a remark to all honorable speakers and moderator, the certificate and the placards will be sent physically to all your address. So once again, we deeply thankful for your involvement in this event. So this is the end of our world-class professor webinar, but don't forget to come in the next event in the 22nd September 2022 in the roughly same time like now, and there is another topics especially about Barondok diamonds, and we hope that you all come in the next world-class professor event. So thank you to all participants who had come today. Don't forget to fill out the participation form, attendance form that has been given in the comment section of the Zoom. So, good morning. Kalau ada sumur di ladang, kita akan minum banyak sekali. Kalau ada waktu akan datang, boleh kita berjumpa kembali. Thank you and see you again in the next World Class Professor event.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anita.
And that's all our event for today. Thank you very much and see you in the next event. Please, committee, you can play the video for the outro.
Welcome to Material and Metallurgical Engineering ITK. I'm Jatmoko Awali, the head of department. I know there must be a lot of questions about what we can do on this study program. Let me get you to take a look at the journey that you can choose to assess your universe. Our strategy to solve these various problems is by dividing our expertise in four broad research areas: material simulation and modeling, material manufacture, innovative material, material viral analysis. Let's find out what they are doing.
Material simulation and modeling expertise cover research for modeling and simulating important aspects in material science, including structure, properties, and behavior of materials. Basically, we are trying to construct models and identifying the correct approaches to test theoretical descriptions, experimental observations, or non-experimentable materials phenomena using various computer softwares.
Materials manufacturing studies the processing of materials to improve the efficiency and effectivity of product manufacturing. For example, casting, soldering, carburizing, welding, sintering, polymer extrusion, and composite curing.
Innovative materials focuses to improve materials by curating and developing innovative composite, metal, polymer, and ceramic, by expanding the design for devices and systems of technological applications such as industrial, medical, and environment.
Material failure can lead to catastrophic accidents like the Titanic, airplane crashes, or collapsing bridges around the globe. The program teaches the student to analyze cracks, corrosion, deformation, and many forms of material failure to find the causes and design the prevention of material failure.
So, that is a glimpse of the universe that you can choose. Let's start your journey with us to see more and know more. Because
there is no engineering without materials.
There is no engineering without materials.